What's up, you guys? I'm all ready to start recording. Let's do this.
Thought you were gonna take the week off. Did you just get your wisdom teeth taken out?
Yeah, I'm totally fine though. Like, it was nothing, man. Trust.
Are you sure, man? I mean, you had like kind of surgery done. You're not like loopy or anything from the drugs or whatever you took or anything like that?
I mean, yeah, but they just gave me a couple painkillers. I took them. I feel perfectly fine.
Should we really have him on the show today? Don't you think he's gonna be a liability? What happens if he says some, really outlandish stuff that could get us into trouble?
We'll do it.
Yeah, no. Okay, let's start. Yeah, why not?
Morbius is the best Marvel movie ever.
Recording at 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California at Undercity Comics. Keeping Up with the Nerds presents issue 112. My name is Bryan.
Rene.
And Nick.
And welcome to the show. I didn't say 102. Or one, what is it? 1012?
11:20.
6969.
Welcome back, guys.
Yes.
How have you guys been? How's your guys' week?
Yeah.
Still here.
Still here?
I count that as a win.
Yeah?
I haven't
Woke up.
I woke up.
I made an effort.
I haven't given in to the darker voices. So
You guys are so depressing.
That's real.
That's just the reality
That's just
of
the
things,
reality.
guys.
you know that moment when you're like in a bath and you were like, what if I just like sank?
I just dropped.
Stop. Guys, thank you guys so much for all the support before we kickstart the show. Thank you guys for everything so far. We hit 121 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
We're growing. We keep hitting an average of 50 plus views every video. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for the comments, the likes, all the support and everything. Go check us out on YouTube at Keeping Up with the Nerds. That's our YouTube channel where you guys can find us, our live podcast. You guys can find the skits, anything new, any all new videos that basically come out, as well as our Real Addiction Live. Currently, episode 77 is up on the channel as well.
We hope.
It is. It should be episode 78 now.
Okay.
Hopefully.
See, we inherited babysitting duties. I didn't. And Adam,
We're teaching them.
Nah,
Adam,
he's
I hope you
learning.
heard
We're
that.
teaching
He's
them.
learning.
As you
Nick is the uncle that, is just kind of like, man,
You could do better.
Are you doctor
So
yet?
like,
you talked to me.
that's the aunt. It's just like,
Are
so,
you doctor yet?
are you still with her? When are you getting married?
Are you with her? Oh, thank God, she was the worst.
I didn't really like
If
her.
you guys want to go check us out on any other audio platform because you guys are driving, working out, and you guys want to listen to us, go check us out on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Or in
and
the shower.
Spotify. Lewis. Go rate us 5 stars or whatever you guys think is appropriate for us. 5 stars preferably. Wherever you guys can. And I think Apple Podcasts and Spotify now, you guys can rate us there.
Yeah.
Follow us on Podbean as well.
Always remember you should shampoo before you condition.
Lewis.
Then shampoo again.
Do you guys do that?
I do double shampoo.
You do double shampoo? I
sham-
don't do that.
I shampoo, then I condition, then I shampoo.
I can't afford to
Right.
double shampoo. Like,
Dude, I barely even shower like twice a day, or once a day.
No, I shower once a day at least. But like, I never understood that. Like, it's like you shampoo, condition, then shampoo again. I feel like you're washing off the like the condition.
No, it depends because like there's sometimes there is some like shampoos that like when you do that, like, you don't read the instructions on the back.
No.
There's some shampoos that say like.
Guys, I
shampoo,
didn't know this was a self-care podcast.
No, this is real talk podcast. Okay, this is what legit people do. That like we're piquing people's interest right now. You know?
What are your shower
Dude,
habits?
in all fairness, dude, I on my Amazon account I have some weird stuff like.
Oh,
like
okay.
No.
Last but not least,
Like
guys,
the
follow us on our
pimple
socials
popper?
on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Guys, follow us on there. Let us know what you guys think as well, and check out our website, keepingupwiththenerds.com.
We're giving content. You were just
I
talking
know,
about how there's
but
not much to talk about.
No, there is a lot to talk about. I'm just telling people where to find us.
You ever
Plug it in
seen
the
that little that like rake pimple popper?
Oh, I've seen that. I think
Dude,
Maddie wants to get
Bro,
that.
that thing's like dope. It's so dope. Like I bought it and I like it's my new pastime. When I get bored, I take my pants off and I just start
Take
doing
my
it.
pants off. I take my pants off and just go to town.
Yeah, man.
Alrighty.
I got like a bunch
Stop.
right here.
Can
man.
we
It's
move
weird.
on?
You know what's odd?
Nick!
I don't actually have hair where my pockets are.
Oh my god.
It's so weird.
That's true,
I have a
yeah.
hairy leg.
Oh my god.
And then
You
where my
literally are
pockets-
just
I have
selling this,
more
aren't you?
like leg
Nick.
inner, like
Nick.
in my.
I got hair.
What
here,
is the
but I
point
have-
of this?
and like
Nick!
bald right here.
Yeah, dude, it's weird. I think it's because like I reach into my pockets. I reach into my pockets and I'm just kind of like, ooh, it's
Stop!
like I'm like, I am real. What?
Are you
Just
done?
want to slap it, like, yeah.
Only when I'm feeling naughty. Only.
You're just feeling yourself.
Yeah, when you never.
You're so embarrassing.
You've never seen
dude.
Be Cool
No.
with The Rock, where he's just
yeah.
where like he spins around and he's in like a velour suit with like these brand new boots, and then he's like, ooh, spicy, and like he spanks his butt. You've never seen that?
Nick, are you done?
We gotta watch Be Cool.
Nick, are you done?
What?
Are you done?
You're having a conversation.
You guys are on
You're
the
inter-
freaking show.
You're interrupting
talking
my
about
conversation.
pimples and what you do with your pants off.
I didn't say what I did with my pants off.
Yes, you did.
I said
That's Nerds After Dark.
Yeah.
Like,
I said that's why
coming
I
to the
take my pants
Patreon
off.
when we do start Patreon. Like,
Yeah. Hey, Brian, personal care is very important.
It is important.
You should take
Yes.
care of yourself. Like all those
yes.
blackheads on your forehead, you should really take
They're
care
not.
of those.
Stop.
now you're like, F you.
I'm so done, dude.
Okay, so what was that?
This is the show, guys. We're wrapping it up here. You know,
Wrapping
only
up. This is
5
the
minutes
end of the podcast. The
5 minutes into the show, we're already done.
You want to borrow my rake?
No.
Okay.
You're
I
right.
finally broke you. That's Nick.
I won.
Can we move on?
Yeah.
Can we talk about the actual topics at hand, please? Because there is quite a lot of stuff to talk about.
I added skin rake to the.
No, you
In the hashtags where you upload. Can you imagine that's what blows up? Skin rakes.
That's what the algorithm picks up,
Right?
out of everything. All right, so we got quite a short list for comic strips this week. I think Gamescom took a lot of the news stuff this week. Not like a lot of like newsy stuff in terms of like TV shows or comic books or anything. We are
There's a
having
whole
DC Watch.
Yes.
That's going to happen later down this issue.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do She-Hulk Watch as well.
I feel like DC is just doing a lot of stuff, and every week everybody's just kind of like,
What now?
Yeah, at
it's
this
kinda-
point, I'm kind of like, what's
Okay,
like,
so
you ever seen Liar Liar?
with
no.
Jim Carrey?
Yeah, with Jim Carrey.
Can't
and then,
tell a
like,
lie for a
there's-
whole day.
Yeah, you can't tell a lie for a whole day. And then he has this one client that just consistently keeps on going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, Mr. Reed, Mr. Athens is on the phone again. He got arrested.
He
picks
really
up-
needs your legal
Yeah,
advice.
he really needs your legal advice. And he picks up the phone and he goes, "Stop breaking the law, jerk!" And then he hangs up the phone.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Like, stop,
how
like just
DC is?
stop doing things.
Yeah.
DC kind of like at this point I'm with you, Rene, where it's like any piece of DC information that comes out, I'm just kind of like, okay, what happened now?
Yeah, basically.
You cancel this, okay, that's
It's like
cool.
that. It's like that one friend that always has a problem, and you just like,
Dude, I swear I'm quitting drinking this. This is the
Yeah.
last time. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not doing it again.
yeah.
All right, sure, whatever.
It's just like that one dramatic friend is like, oh yeah, you didn't really say I love you after. and stuff."
Okay,
And you're just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, oof.
Yeah,
That
If you've
sucks.
if you only been dating for 2 days, like,
I dated one girl and didn't even sleep with her, and she was talking about marriage. win.
scary.
That's fun, Nick. Don't.
LA people are weird.
LA people are weird. Yeah.
All right. Jumping into
Man.
comic strips. You
Them
guys are new to
Hollywood
this
types.
show. Just a quick reminder, comic strip is a quick, rapid shot news piece where we just go ahead and talk about the small bits of information and news that has come out over the week.
Yeah.
Where we really don't want to dedicate too much time to the show for.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that said, let's go ahead and start. Gamescom news. It happened this week. Bunch of gaming news. Big things. PlayStation 5 price increase.
Oh, but it's in other countries.
Yeah, but it's still an increase, which is like kind of
Not,
weird.
not for us.
Not
which
for
is
us.
good.
Yeah.
Renee doesn't care. He already got his.
He already got it, but everyone else, just saying, there's people around the area that,
I don't gotta
are,
worry about that.
dolling up just PlayStation
Yeah.
5s and, God knows what they're doing with it. But, whatever. It is what it is. But there's a PlayStation 5 price hike in other countries.
How much is it?
I think it's like $50 or something like that. They're
It's
still
increasing
a
it.
lot.
That's still a
Yeah.
lot
It's a lot.
for a console that you can't even get your hands on. Interesting.
I'd be pissed.
Game trailers. Bunch of games announced. Bunch of trailers announced, including Dead Island 2 revived.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Was that like really the game we were
I
waiting
didn't even know
for?
Dead Island
I
was
think
a
it was-
successful franchise like that.
So Dead Island
It
is
wasn't.
This the thing is like Dead Island is like the Knight Rider of video games, where it had because Knight Rider wasn't super successful when it first premiered,
yeah.
and it kind of built a cult following where people
That's
really
true.
do like it.
I do hear people when they say like if there's games that they would replay, Dead Island is mostly on the list.
Yeah,
Like it's along with like Left 4 Dead and stuff. But Left 4 Dead was more successful.
Left 4 Dead works.
Yeah.
Dead Island didn't.
Yeah.
It's
Was
a
Dead
good
Li-
concept.
Dead Island had a lot of mechanics in the game that on launch just didn't work. Like the game just malfunctioned.
Yeah.
I just remember the trailers for Dead Island.
They were good trailers.
It was a good concept.
Yeah.
It was a really good concept. In all fairness, all you need to do is just make it a zombie horde mode where it's like Back for Blood.
Basically.
I've never
That's all
played it.
you
Is
really
that how
need
it
to do.
is?
No, so Dead Island is best way I can describe it. There's like some RPG elements to it.
It's kind of like an open world. It's very open world. You can upgrade your weapons. You can upgrade
it's
your
like
characters.
Dying with the not dying light mechanics
Oh, I was just gonna say, was it like Dying Light?
in a way, but Dying Light's more parkour.
Oh, okay.
It's Dying Light if you like.
Honestly,
just
if they were
rip
to
up
add
all the
parkour,
flesh.
honestly, if they were to add parkour, that'd probably be pretty cool.
They could with the Dead Island 2 release,
Yeah.
but it's interesting because it was a game that was announced years and years and years ago. Thought it was dead. It was in hiatus.
Yeah.
Comes back now. It's interesting. So
Because they literally went, what IP can we just shove down their throat that they've always been wanting and is basically already done? We just need to upconvert it.
Dead Island 2 will sell because of the name,
Dead
not if it's a
Island.
good island, not if it's a good game.
Trust me, it's not a good island. Don't want to go.
Neither.
It's not a good island. It's probably not going to be a good game.
The other piece of Sony news is that PlayStation or Sony released the PlayStation 5 Controller Pro.
I saw
So
that.
dumb.
So I'm kind of like, okay, your DualSense
Hold on,
controller's
look it
not
up.
bad.
Look it up. Look it up.
The new.
Look at the look at the look.
Okay.
And somebody literally just got an Elite controller and went, do that.
So here's the interesting thing, okay? I know I don't want to spend too much time on it, but remember when the Xbox One and PlayStation 5 were first, or PlayStation, was it PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4 when it was announced?
For what?
It was 4. When
Wait. What are you talking about?
when Xbox came out and said that we're gonna just basically shut down any game sharing and put
That's it?
like codes and everything. Yeah,
That's it.
that's it.
It looks like it's just. Okay, they just took out because this part's white.
It's reinforced.
Yeah.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
But flip it around. No, flip it around. That's triggers in the back.
Oh,
But
I
you're-
see them right here. Yeah.
But do you
But they're
remember?
they're in weird spots.
Oh, why would I need triggers right there?
Oh,
No. They're
Right here.
they're micros
macros.
or macros. So you
Is it
can
an Apple product?
All right, so simplest way.
no.
Okay, do you want to know what they're for?
Yeah.
So like, if you play Call of Duty, you know how to slide
I
cancel.
don't play Call of Duty, but
Oh.
go ahead.
you know in what was it? You know in a Force Unleashed.
Yes.
Okay, you know how you have the block and it's over here.
Mm-hmm.
You can set the block over here. So that way, as you're
My
playing,
brain doesn't work like that. Like, I'm thinking about it like,
no. But think about it like this. Okay, so you're attacking, you're attacking, and then you block, and then over here you can block, and your finger's already on it.
Rainbow Six.
So you don't have to get off of it. So you don't have to take your finger off, and there's not that delay.
Rainbow Six. You know how like when on console It's the triggers. You have to press it down,
Dude,
to do this.
the tilt.
The
Dude,
tilt.
yeah.
You can do macros on your triggers and do that instead of pressing.
Okay, in all
thing.
fairness, just open up another tab and then look up the Xbox Elite controller.
Xbox Elite 2. Anyways,
Yeah,
do you know what I'm talking about when the Xbox One was released and then they just shut down game sharing and PlayStation said, "Oh, how do we share games?" and they did that promo
Yes.
where they just handed it.
That was that was the Xbox One.
And the PlayStation 4, right? So what was interesting about that was that I feel like with all this news coming out about Sony with the release and products and stuff like that,
So you can see the back. Yeah.
right there, yeah.
Oh, that's
So-
just sensors. It looks like.
No. So
Is it buttons?
those are 2 buttons. It's two macros that you can have right there, and it's really cool because you can actually take those out. Everything on that controller is magnetic.
This too?
That too, you can pop that out and you can put a different one where it's just a D-pad.
Yeah.
The two
I was gonna say, it feels like it's like
Yeah, so you can actually take the thumbsticks off.
and replace it like that.
Yeah, so you can replace it like that. But you see how right there you can take them off?
Oh, yeah.
So it actually comes with a key so you can tighten the tension. So that way, if you like your joysticks nice and loose, you can make them loose. If not, you can also make them really tight. So that way, like, they react very fast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this controller has that. Like, as much custom.
They haven't announced any info on it.
But
They
the
haven't
thing-
even released the price.
But look at the back. Look at the back of the controller. It looks exactly like an Elite
Because that's what a
Like
pro
they're
controller
trying
is.
to do that,
Because
yeah.
basically, think of it this way: the only market right now that sells controllers like this is markets like Scuff.
Yeah, but look at the back buttons. So you see right next to the triggers.
Mm-hmm.
So those will actually shorten your trigger activation. So if I put it all the way down, to actually activate the trigger, it would go all the way down. But if I put it all the way up, I just have to tap the trigger and it'll automatically activate.
Do you want to put an age on us real quick? Remember when Modern Warfare 2 came out, the easiest way to do any form of like modding for a controller like that was to drill the back end of your triggers and and tighten the springs on that.
Yeah.
That's what we used to do
But they
back
just
in the day.
but they added it. They added it to the controller now.
Yeah.
So now the controller is just easy. Here's the thing I don't like. This is the main thing I don't like on a PS5 controller. I do not like that the triangle button is so close to the share.
Yeah, no.
I hate it because I have fat fingers, and
No, like
No,
I
I mean-
already don't
It's the
like
same
this
problem I have
controller.
with the Switch.
huh?
It's the same problem I have with the Switch.
Oh, everything's so close together.
Yeah, everything's so close together. That's why I'm telling you right now, the Xbox controller, especially the Xbox Elite 2 controller, is by far the best controller. On
So
the
I will say this: the funny thing about every piece of announcement that's come out of Gamescom for Sony has been kind of used against it because one, price increase is not good. Two, a lot of the things that are coming out for Sony and its console, it's not good PR. And the interesting is that Microsoft hasn't done anything to basically make itself look better. It's just the public.
So okay, so you see on the front of the controller.
You're still on the controller?
Yes, because it's pissing me off. So you see on the front of the controller. Now go to the Elite controller, the Elite 2. Okay, so you see those 3 dots,
Yeah.
those 3 lines, and that big button in the middle. That is your mapping button. So you can have 3 preset maps for buttons, and you can just push it, and it'll go 1, 2, 3, and they'll light up. And essentially, it'll be your first. So the first setting, how you liked it. So let's say you have a specific setting when you do Call of Duty. Okay, cool. Now the buttons are automatically set for Call of Duty. Your second setting is Rainbow Six. There's that, and then let's say you have another one for Mortal Kombat. Of like, because you can, all these buttons you can change. So instead of block can be over there. You can move every single button.
Oh, I
And
can't do
rechange
that.
it.
That messes with my head.
Nick, I'm gonna move on because
It's
yeah.
so, but
We'll
I
talk about it
love
after.
this
We
controller
will-
so much.
I know you do, and it's 130
Dude,
right
I
now.
love that
But they
controller.
might be releasing a new one soon. Anyways, moving on with comic strips. I'm gonna move on so that way we can just
Yes.
keep this going, right?
I
You
want-
went on it, dude. There
I
was
want
like
2
red in your
photos-
eyes.
I want 2 photos of these controllers right next to each other, so that way people can go, "That's the same controller." Xbox just come out with
Same
it.
goddamn controller.
It came out with it 2 years before it.
Marvel hints at new director for the Fantastic Four. Matt Shakman or something like that. I can't
Shackman?
Shackman. I can't pronounce
Jewish?
it. From WandaVision.
Oh.
So they're hinting at him possibly taking over after
Dude,
John Watts.
Shaq is gonna direct it.
Shaq? What?
Dude,
Hey.
Shaq?
Hey guys.
Resident Evil
doing
series on
Fantastic Four.
Netflix canceled after 1 season.
Oh, I
Yeah, that
saw
makes
that.
sense.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. Not a lot of
Rest
people were
in
like,
peace.
Not a lot of people were into it.
It was a good series for us, but
listen, I'm a huge
whatever.
Resident Evil fan. I consider myself a Resident
I
Evil
dug it.
fan. I didn't mind it.
I didn't
I
mind
dug
it
it.
either. It
I
was
liked
fun.
it. It was fun. It was a
I'm
different
sorry.
take.
You know what? It's society. That's the problem. Society just ruins everything
I
now,
hate
right?
you right now.
Godzilla and King Kong. I think we mentioned this a couple issues ago that they are making a new movie
No one cares.
planned for 2024. I care. March 15th. But more information has come out saying that it is possibly a team up film.
It's not a rematch.
Yeah.
It's basically Kong and Godzilla.
Oh my God,
They
is
take
it a
on
buddy
another
cop movie? Please tell me.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine style.
Please tell me that it's a buddy
threat. You know
cop.
what, Godzilla? We have our differences, but we need to team up together to take down this threat.
Because of family.
Godzilla comes. King Kong comes out. Does the
Oh yeah, the Henry Cavill.
Dude, it's just like-
arms.
Dude, if King Kong cocks his arms like it's a shotgun, dude, I will go. Do not mess with that gorilla. Like, that is, he was already King Kong. Now he's Death Kong. Like he's gonna murder you.
Death blow.
Your first 4D experience. Your first 4D experience was Top Gun, right?
Yeah.
Same with mine.
Okay.
Oh,
Godzilla
Kong,
movies are a trip.
Okay.
It is a trip.
I will watch Godzilla in the movie just so I can throw popcorn at you. I'm just trying to give you the 4D experience.
He gets 2 large tubs of popcorn, and he's just holding and waiting.
It just keeps filling on.
Yeah,
It's like,
it's just like
ammo?
one movement.
Just ammo.
just gonna get a timestamp. real quick.
Boom. Just ammo. I would
He
love
just
that.
keeps just dumbing. Just keeps doesn't
21
run out of ammo.
Never.
Where is he getting all this popcorn from? He's just making it as the movie keeps going.
Refills, obviously.
BioShock movie finds a director, Francis Lawrence from I Am Legend and Constantine.
I can take that. That sounds good.
I'm glad they're pushing forward with the BioShock movie. Interesting.
BioShock is such an easy movie to make, though.
It is. Yes.
In the void.
It's capturing the atmosphere.
In the void.
What do you mean?
If you were to use ILM's void for the BioShock movie, it becomes 100 times easier.
Sure.
And also, if you work with James Cameron on his like new technology for underwater IMAX.
Sorry, if you work with James Cameron, the show's never coming out. I'm just saying. All right.
He's gotta wait for the
that's fair.
technology.
He's like,
to
it's
go
the
in there.
technology's
I'm
not there. We're waiting
No,
for
but
2030.
the movie's not ready yet.
But you are working with the technology because he just made it for his latest Avatar movie.
Which
And he's
is
just
never come out,
re-releasing the
which
first
it
one
Never,
now.
it'll
Yeah.
never come out.
He's just
Avatar 2 will be delayed. I'm calling it right now.
What would you do if you started Avatar? If like Avatar 2, you're sitting in the movie theater, you're about to watch it, and then Avatar 1 starts playing. And then you see James Cameron come on the screen. He's like, "I'm gonna get that number 1
I
back."
hope you know what. I hope
trying.
James Cameron lives a long, healthy life, right? Because what I want is when his time
Under
comes and
the
he passes,
sea.
right? I want him to transcend into the digital era and have his consciousness just be in the internet, and he just keeps directing movies. Like the guy will develop an AI to make movies past death.
When James Cameron,
I feel like that's more of a
goes,
Tom Cruise thing.
Well, I
Ja-
mean, Johnny Depp already
when
did.
James Cameron goes, I want him to go like the old lady in Titanic, where he just
Goes
gets
on a boat.
He goes on a boat. He
Yeah.
just gets a giant IMAX camera and he just throws it overboard over where the Titanic sank. And he's just like, "Oh, Jack." And then he goes to bed and he dies in his sleep. That's the perfect James Cameron death I've ever seen.
House of Dragons season 2 announced.
Already?
Already.
Dang.
Yeah. Apparently,
Well,
the show's
also,
that good.
HBO believes they have a lot of faith in that.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see. We're gonna talk about it in a
yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Guys, hold on to the table, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan announced to be in the new season of The Boys.
I want to see his ass.
Dude.
We saw Jensen Ackles. butt.
Honestly,
Forget-
Jeffrey Dean Morgan also would have been a really good choice for Butcher.
Forget Jeffrey
would've
Dean
been a-
Morgan.
would've
I
been a
want
sick one.
Lucille.
You want
Why?
Lucille
I
on
want
the boys?
bat on The Boys.
Why?
Why not, dude?
Okay.
I want Butcher to smack him around with a bat.
Honestly, they probably would.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see who Jeffrey Dean Morgan
Right?
would play in.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a character that they would think of for him.
Maybe an original character.
Could be original character.
Maybe or
He could be part of VOT for all we know. He could be just like
You know what I would? You know what
Do
I
you
would
think
love?
he would play a VOD character though?
I would love him to be a better Butcher,
Oh, like
but he's far more crooked. Like he seems like he has everything like kind
Sure.
of put together, and he has like better plans and everything like that. They seem a lot less crazy, but he doesn't have the moral compass of Butcher.
Sure.
Can you imagine he just plays a straight guy in there? It's just like he's like
he's like in one scene.
Yeah.
Just say Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and he's like, "Oh, thanks, Homelander." And like, he just walks away.
Last piece of information before we close out comic strips: Umbrella Academy ends with season 4.
Now you said a funny remark.
Did
which
you actually
I loved.
laugh?
I actually liked it
This
because
is
it
the
was
last season, right?
It's
This
the
is
last season, and
That makes
Netflix
sense.
is just.
I
you
actually
know,
said something you legitimately laughed
Yeah,
at.
I legitimately laughed.
Why can't you be like that?
I went at the store.
I gave you Rogue One. That's your one. That's your one.
Because I can agree with it. Yeah. No, because I said, what did I say? I said, Umbrella Academy having season 4.
Or like ending in season 4 before Netflix cuts them.
I'm canceling
them.
myself before you all cancel
No,
me.
but it's interesting though, because even if you look at the last season of the Umbrella Academy, that was a very cheap season to make.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of there was not a lot of like, oh yeah, we're going to go to like this place. Like locations all were in a hotel.
Yeah, it was all in
everything was in a
setting.
hotel or inside. Like it was all static. Either it was in the hotel or it was in the mansion.
Yeah.
So
that was it.
This
like
kind of brings to mind a question, all right? I kind of get the feeling that the way Netflix works with its TV shows is that Netflix doesn't come to the actual producers and say, here's the money, make another season. I feel like it's producers going to Netflix saying, we need more money for another season.
Like, sorry, it's going all to Stranger Things.
Yeah, because
yeah.
that's its baby. Stranger Things is its baby. It's the biggest moneymaker for Netflix at the moment.
Not to mention they're like grabbing A-list actors and having them do these movies. Like you have Jamie Foxx, Ryan Reynolds.
They're getting people who usually would put butts in seats.
Yeah,
which is it's good. I can I mean I can see it.
I'm still very confused on their business model,
which doesn't exist.
Honestly, I have no idea.
It's a dartboard. It's the Price is Right wheel.
At the end, that and also it's like
just
whatever the
spin.
CW will reject, and they're like, we'll take it. You know, like Tall Girl.
All right, bring in the reject. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, we keep that one.
I
We keep that one.
wouldn't be surprised.
The Kissing
if-
Booth. Like
Jesus
all these
Christ.
terrible teen
Did
dramedies.
you see the Alex
Kissing-
Myers
the
video?
Kissing
where
Booth was adorable.
Stop.
But
Did you
does it
see
need
the
a
Alex
third
My-
one?
Did you see the Alex Myers
It
video?
has a sequel?
There's 3 movies.
You're lying.
I'm not.
The video
That's
Alex Myers
BS.
did with 365 days or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a movie on Netflix called 365.
365 days.
that?
I don't know.
What's it
It's basically like softcore porn.
Listen, dude. All you need to do is put all your money into more of these shows about like Hitler or like
Someone
Zodiac.
listening to this right now is
They
just
were
like,
legitimately
this is gonna
like,
go somewhere.
yeah. They were like, oh, what's he gonna say? Hitler. What? Someone just swerved in their car right now from that.
Give me more docuseries.
I can just imagine
These
someone
give me
audibly
some-
going
Open
like,
with that. Like, don't just drop Hitler. Like, you know, like. You know what Netflix really needs to invest in? Nazis. Like,
The Nazi party.
the Nazi party.
That's what it, that's
I was
where
always
going.
fascinated
All
by
right,
that.
so what we need
No,
to do is
I'm telling
we
you
need
because
to.
they haven't. Right now, they're really going big on these like untold stories.
yeah,
Like untold.
the untold story of Hitler.
No, but no, because like there's
Inside
that-
Hitler.
Okay, it's because
Making Hitler.
No, in all fairness, I got sucked.
Where
into this
is
one,
Hitler?
No, I got sucked into this one show on Hulu that was like hunting Hitler. And it's all about like Hitler escaping after when Germany falls, and it's like them going to Argentina searching for like the remnants of the Nazi party.
Oh my god.
And they find it.
So we're gonna bring Nick to a
In the
production
Fourth
meeting,
Reich.
right? Where we go to Netflix or Hulu and be like, we want a show, right? And Nick just goes and is like, okay, guys, we need to capture this market because right now society is focused on
Dude,
one thing:
History Channel has
Stalin.
Dude,
No,
A show,
feel like-
a family sitcom about Stalin.
dude, literally,
like-
the History Channel has made a business model on
A
Hitler.
family sitcom about Genghis Khan.
No, what?
That's exactly it.
Why can't you just have one about what's his name? Vlad the Butcher, or Vlad the Impaler? Oh, Vlad!
Where is Dracula?
Oh, Vlad! He impaled again! Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. What happened to Dave?
Was it like a religious show about Rasputin?
Right.
Oh my god. Yes.
All right. So that concludes the end of.
If I see any of
comic
these on
strips.
TV, Netflix, I'm gonna be pissed. I will be so pissed.
Where is Hitler? Why is Hitler? Who is Hitler?
Where is Hitler?
Honestly, that show is pretty dope though. It's fire. That show is pretty sick.
That's the end of comic strips, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on.
It's kind of like watching Ghost Hunters, but with Hitler.
So, what's the time?
Are there any spirits here?
What's the time on the show right now?
No, it's like, are there any Nazis?
Are there any Nazis here?
All
If you
right.
are, say hi.
So can we behave ourselves and talk about two different subjects before we do DC Watch?
Sure.
Okay.
Can we behave ourselves, Nick?
No.
You need a promise.
Dude, I can't promise nothing.
Yeah.
That's not what you hired me for.
That's not why I'm here. So.
Okay, let's talk about House of Dragons first and foremost. You guys watched the first episode, right?
Yes,
I did.
you are not. You haven't seen
I
none of Game
never
of Thrones.
will.
That's great, but you've never seen Game of Thrones. Okay.
That's great.
That's great.
Who cares?
So, get out. I don't know.
No, I don't know. I don't think he cares. That's the thing.
I just don't care.
It's a prequel show too.
It's
That's
a
another thing.
Okay, so it's a prequel show that's supposed to take place 175 years before Daenerys is even born.
Yeah,
Cool.
before she's even a thought.
And this is supposed to be the Dance of the Dragons. That's
Before
what the
she's
story.
a thought or before she's a thought?
No, before she was
Both.
a twinkle in her daddy's eye.
Daddy was even born yet in the
Yes.
show. Yeah.
The Mad King hadn't been born yet. Everything else. So this is all about the reign of
Viserys.
Viserys the 1st.
Mhm.
And it goes about that the original king, I forget, is it Aegon the Fourth or?
Oh, see, that's.
Did you guys actually watch all
no,
of
that's
Game
the
of
thing.
Thrones?
That's
No.
the thing.
Here's what I'm saying. The
show
very first episode
throws these
just
characters at
throws names at you. That's the first
So
episode.
Game
is
of Thrones.
No.
It's basically George R.R. Martin's book in a show.
But here's the
'Cause
difference.
it's the
though.
same. It's written the same way.
When you
here's-
watch Game of Thrones, you can already tell who are the good,
Yeah.
who are the good guys,
I don't
and who are the
know.
bad guys.
I really don't know.
The thing is that this show is written with gray characters. And that's what George R. R.
Yeah.
Martin strives over. He loves gray characters. He loves characters that are both.
Oh, you
But-
think this is a bad guy?
but-
Yeah.
No, but here's
no.
but
He
here's the
loves
thing
doing
though.
that. He
There
gets
was
off of that. That and doggy style. That's the thing. You know?
that's the sexiest way
So-
of making love.
So
No,
I
but-
heard one thing. Hang on.
Okay.
A quick comment. I saw someone tweet that the reason as to why George R.R. Martin hasn't released his book yet is so that way when he passes, he releases the book and doesn't have to hear anyone complain about the ending.
could be.
That could be it. That sounds like a George R. R. Martin
That does
thing.
sound
Right?
like
At this
George R. R.
point,
Martin. Yeah.
based on how he is. So tell me why
Well,
House of Dragons.
he's also coming up with a different ending.
That's true. Why is House of Dragons a show people
He's
should
like,
watch?
I guess that ending didn't work.
he's like, really shouldn't have given him the rough draft. Oh, dang.
Why should people watch House of Dragons?
I'm not sure yet.
There's no reason to watch it yet. It's the first episode. It's basically it's both for hardcore Game of Thrones fans that either didn't like the original ending of Game of Thrones,
So you
or
throw another one?
you throw another one. That's how HBO works.
I
They're
don't-
like, we didn't work the first time. Let's throw another thing and hope they like it again.
Well, that was the thing is that they did a lot. The interesting thing is that now you have none of the characters, so it's kind of like you're reintroduced to a world that you kind of already know, but
Yeah,
because
like
it's in
you're
the
familiar
past,
with.
you're very familiar with it, but because it's in the past, you don't know any of the players. So now it's kind of like you have to refigure out who are the pieces on the board. Because before you knew where all the pieces were,
Yeah.
you knew where they were located in Westeros,
you know, like
knew everything.
you know, you're familiar with all the houses. This one, there's 3 new houses that we have to follow, along with the Targaryens, which we already know.
Well, the 3 new houses were destroyed. That's why. Because
So they have the High Tower.
the High Towers were dead.
Yeah.
Look up the other 2. I can't remember all of them. There's too many.
Is it a good? Is it a good show visually?
You would have to.
It looks like
no.
it looks like how Game of Thrones season 8 did.
Yeah. So
But a lot of it was kind of like, remember Game of Thrones? Remember the fighting?
you guys remember people riding dragons? You know.
Remember the dragons? It's you know what it is? It's a lot of member berries.
Yeah.
It's a lot of that.
Remember Barry?
It's
a
all the
lot
stuff that
of-
people liked
Yeah.
from the previous series, but just thrown in here. But it's with new people. Again, it's supposed to be. It's
it's the Dance of Dragons. That's
Yeah.
the story that we're following right now. So the idea of the Dance of Dragons is that a king that one of the kings has his daughter go up, and she is now going to be the ruler of Westeros. Now, when they do that, the Targaryens are a widespread family. All the Targaryens all feel that they should be king, and they have a better right to the throne than she does because she's a woman. So they all start fighting against each other. They're all going for the throne. Right now, they have tons of dragons. They have like somewhere near I think 75 dragons between all the Targaryens together. This is the thing that destroys all the dragons, because it's going to just be dragon fight after dragon fight.
Yeah.
Over and over again. So it's going to be a lot of aerial battles, because that's what happens in the books is there's a lot of aerial battles, a lot of Targaryens dying, a lot of different people getting having to pick sides between the houses.
It's not giving me any of the different houses. It's telling me the houses that we already know, like the Starks, the Baratheons, and the Lannisters.
That's all you need to know.
But that's the thing. There's like 3 different houses that weren't.
The houses of the dragon.
Houses.
What houses are in House of the Dragons? Anyway, because they have the Martells, they do have the High Towers, they have everything else. But that's besides the point. You have this new show. And it does give you it gives you the new MacGuffin.
It's the High Towers, the Valerians, the Strongs.
The Strongs, how strong?
Yeah, because that's how strong that's supposed to.
Hey,
be.
look, a House of Dragons ad.
Which House Baratheon, and then in King's Landing. There's
Is it House of the Dragon or House of Dragon?
House of the Dragon. HUD.
Okay,
HUD.
because
that's what people are calling it.
a true Targaryen is considered a dragon.
Yeah.
So it's the House of the Dragon, singular dragon. So who's going to be the leader of the house?
Is it fair to say that this is the show that you can't necessarily look at it week by week because it's going to be the season ending that's going to kind of give you an idea of where the show's headed?
That's kind of Game of Thrones in general.
That's the thing. There's supposed to be a time jump apparently soon where we see the young actress and
turn
actresses
into the older actress.
Yeah, they become adults, which I don't know how I feel about that.
So everybody that you meet in the very beginning, it very much it skips a couple of years. It skips like 20 years the future.
My question is, why do you guys do this to yourselves? I feel like Game of Thrones fans are like one of two people. Game of Thrones is so great, I'm just gonna love it to death. Or God, man, Game of Thrones is just so terrible, but you guys keep watching it every week.
For me, it's more of like I was invested in the series before. I kind of want to see where this show goes.
No, but here's the thing, though, is that Game of Thrones is like by far one of those shows that season to season felt like it was getting better. Where it was just like last season. No, but it really did.
But up to season 4, that's the thing. Up to season 4?
No, because Battle of the Bastards is dope.
Well, that was cool, but there was still some like writing aspects that they kind of just took the easy route in season 5.
There's a lot, yeah.
That's the thing, because the books that are out, there's only 4 books.
So they end around season 4, season 5, and then after season 4, that's when everything kind of starts going downhill for the show, where like things stop making kind of sense, where like plot lines kind of drop.
Apparently, at the time, George R.R. Martin told him the ending.
Yeah. Of
his original ending of what he's.
This is what the ending is supposed to be,
and this is where these characters are at. It's your job to go and get them there.
Got it.
And it seemed like...
Do you want me just to tell you what Game of Thrones is about?
No.
I don't... I mean, here's the thing. I feel like I tell myself every year I'm going to watch it, and then I just don't.
Okay. It's fine.
Because there's just so many other things to watch. Like, I'm just not going to invest myself
I tell
into
people
it.
now, like, if they're like, oh, should I watch Game of Thrones? And I'm like, it depends. Like, it depends if you like that aspect. If you liked Lord of the Rings, you'll like Game of Thrones.
True.
But the thing is that for people like us, when we tuned in every week waiting for a season and an episode to come out, by the time the last 2 seasons come out, we're already kind of like, what's going on?
In all fairness, if you compare the pilot for Game of Thrones compared to the pilot of House of the Dragons, Game of Thrones has a stronger pilot.
It's a better pilot.
And also it has a better comeback next week.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
It very much
ends in a huge cliffhanger the first episode. It does.
You don't understand.
Yeah.
All right. No, because the cliff.
I kind of figured.
Okay.
Someone gets pushed off.
Yes.
Yeah. I figured.
Yeah. I'm just gonna tell you. You're never gonna watch it. You're never gonna watch it. So the idea is that Bran Stark, the Ned Stark's second youngest. He's a climber. He likes to climb all over the castle. He climbs into one of the towers that like nobody can get to.
I think I've seen this clip.
Yeah, and once he goes in, he sees the two Lannister siblings having sex.
There's a brother and sister. There's incest.
That's how
the show starts.
And they're twins.
Yeah.
They're twins that have sex with each other.
Doggy style.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly how it is.
He's picking up on it.
Yeah.
No, but the kid is so like, what the heck is going on?
They do that in
he
House of
freezes.
Dragons too. Matt Smith is doing doggy style.
Oh yeah, he is.
To some like random.
Do you think
yeah.
they do it because it's easier to film?
I think it is
Probably because you can cover everything else and you understand what's going on. And you just see butt. It's not. I don't have to like CGI
See
or put
butt.
anything on. I mean, honestly, that's kind of all you really see.
Bit of ball sack.
Is
You
it the
saw
one where he
in
climbs
Matt
up the
Smith?
window and then trips backwards?
He doesn't. He trips backwards, and then the brother catches him, and then he basically questions him like, "What did you see?" Everything else, and then she's like, "He can't get away."
Yeah, he saw us.
Like
together.
he saw us together. He can't get away because she's the queen of the kingdom. So now he knows that the queen and her brother are having sex.
Yeah. So if it gets out that the queen is having sex with their own brother,
They're gonna know that the kids' lineages are going to go haywire because
mind you, she has children already.
but they're all blonde.
They're all blonde, and her husband, the king, has brown hair.
He has brown hair.
They're all pure blondes.
They're all pure blondes, so they're all his kids.
incest kids.
Yeah, they're all incest kids.
Inbred.
Okay, can we move on?
No.
No.
This is why I'm saying
This is
it's
Game
a
of
better-
Thrones.
Hold on,
This is the norm.
No, but no, hold on. But this is why I'm saying it's a better cliffhanger because he holds him, and right before the show ends, he goes, "The things I do for love," and he throws him out the window, and you just see him flying down, and then he hits the ground, and him hitting the ground, that's going to black. And then it goes, bam, 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 bam. And you're like, what the?
Yeah. Did they just kill him?
Like, did they just kill the youngest kid?
Yeah.
Are the siblings are having sex? Like, what's
Yeah.
going on? Oh my god! And you're
leaves
freaking
you,
out.
like-
Yeah, it leaves you with a lot of questions on why I want to come back next week.
Yeah.
This one was more of like, dun dun. It just kind of ends.
It feels like
There was no dun 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 dun. It
dun
was just,
dun.
no. You're just watching it, and it's just like they kind of end it like if it was a season finale
Kind of, yeah.
in a way, because like
She becomes like the new. She
like-
becomes the new heir.
yeah,
and
the queen, the king's daughter, because he doesn't have an heir of a son.
and he murders his wife to get one.
Yeah, but then
He has
his-
a C-section.
Yeah,
Okay, to wrap up this topic. Okay.
No, never.
Yes.
It's
No,
Game
we
of
have
Thrones.
to.
It's Game of
We
Thrones,
have
baby.
to. We're almost hitting.
It's long-winded. There's a lot of stuff that happens, and not a lot of it makes sense.
Would you recommend it to people to start watching it?
I would. You know what? In all fairness, I say wait until it has 5 episodes.
yeah. No, I completely agree. I have
would
to
say-
see more episodes.
It's in order for me
Yeah.
to say like, oh yeah, this is a good show. I like, especially for a Game of Thrones season, like you really got to get halfway through.
I would really go as far as maybe like I have to see how the season ends.
Yeah.
For me at least.
Because honestly, season 1, kind of a slog.
Yeah.
It's kind of a slog. You're kind of going. I remember when my buddy was. That was back when Xbox had the view share where you could be in game chat
Oh yeah.
with everybody, and I was watching Game of Thrones on my Xbox, and my buddies are like, "What are you watching right now?" And I'm like, "Man, I'm watching Game of Thrones, dude. I'm going through the first season and everything else. You know, Ned Stark just got captured, and you know, I just can't wait to see how he escapes." And one of my buddies goes, "Wait, are you starting the season finale right now?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it." And he goes, "Stay on chat. I want to hear this."
No, my sister started it like years ago, and she goes, and she's like halfway into Game of Thrones season 1,
Yeah.
and I go, and I'm like, hey, who's your favorite character? And she goes, Ned Stark. And I'm like, why? And she goes, because I like his character. He's like a noble dude. And I'm like,
The mistake was
Yeah.
you rooted for Sean Bean. No, but it's really funny though, because I remember that scene where I started it and he's like, "Tell me when you start the episode." And I'm like, "I'm starting the episode right now." And he's like, "All right, cool. We're going to keep playing." And then we're like, the episode starts, and then immediately God, like his head comes off, and then they just start murdering all the Starks, and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, and like my buddy's like, what's going on? And I'm like, they killed him, they're murdering everyone. Oh my god,
Arya's running away.
Arya, be safe.
Sansa's been captured.
Arya, run away, my sweet wolf. Go, the Hound, protect her.
So another thing. So after that, the series starts focusing on his kids, right?
Yeah.
And then my sister goes, "Oh, I love Rob. I love Rob Stark. He's like, oh, I feel like he's gonna like get the House of Stark to where it needs to be." No, like,
guys are weird.
Dude, Rob
Why,
Stark.
I'll stick with sci-fi. I'm good.
I want you just to
Thanks,
look up.
guys.
I just
probably
want you to.
safe.
One of my.
You're more emotionally stable
Dude,
for sci-fi.
you know what's really messed up?
You need to be emotionally stable for Game
No,
of Thrones.
in all fairness, one of my buddies came, and when he came over for the Red Wedding, because we were having like watch parties at the time, and we knew it was the Red Wedding episode. He came over and he was just like, he brought red velvet cake. And he like brought like in little cupcakes, like little red
45,
velvet
15.
cupcakes.
Yeah.
And then he like passed it out to everybody, and he goes, "I hope everybody enjoys." And like as he was, and then like people are eating them, going like, "They're delicious." And then at the very end, like you see the Red Wedding, and everybody's like, "Oh my god!" And he goes, "The Lannisters send their regards."
All right, so we got to move on.
Yeah.
because we're hitting that hour mark pretty soon.
That we do.
I know we said we were going to talk about Day Shift, but we got some DC news to talk about.
We can get through the DC stuff pretty quick.
Yeah, we'll
It's
see.
not a lot.
We'll see. We'll probably talk about Day Shift towards the end of the podcast then.
Ah.
Towards the end of the issue. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for DC Watch. You guys are
On
supposed
our
to be
end,
shocked.
on our end, it's nothing happening.
Dude, at this point, I'm cold.
Thanks, guys.
There's
Thanks
nothing I
for.
I'm trying to hold in my pee.
Oh my god.
Are you being serious or no?
I'm being serious.
All right, so a couple things for no stop. A couple things to update about DC. Stop. Imagine you like shifted the wrong way.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. You're right. It's wider.
Oh, it'll definitely fit. Yeah. I had to put the mushroom on the tip on the other way.
And it's got a lock, so that way afterwards, you just put it
Feel in the flavor.
put it in the fridge, save it for later.
3 pieces. Stop. 3 pieces of DC information have come out. Let's start with this one. Something we already know. Ezra Miller has been meeting with Warner Brothers Discovery to talk about pretty much.
fire him. Just fire him. Nobody cares.
Here's the
Nobody
thing.
Just don't give him a paycheck.
The
Yeah, just-
conversations are happening between the two.
Whatever.
Where I kind of feel like it's more publicity for Warner Brothers Discovery and their end to make it seem like they're trying.
In all fairness, if he stays on and you go like he's gotten the help he needed,
He's
and we're
not
gonna,
staying on.
and we're gonna keep him on. The minute they do that, I'm like, dude, I'm done.
This is a PR stunt. This is more along the lines of like, well, we're working with him to get him the help. He's going on a whole apology tour. It doesn't matter. The guy's unredeemable. I don't think that
Yeah, he's
Warner
a-
Brothers Discovery
he's a
will
monster, dude.
Yeah, of course. They're not going to bring him on for any more projects. I just think that it's PR stunts to make the Flash movie more acceptable when it comes out.
See, and for me, I feel like DC fans are going to see the movie regardless.
Yeah,
I'm going to see the movie regardless.
We'll probably have a watch party.
Yeah,
we'll watch it.
I'm like, I do want to watch it, not because of Ezra Miller. I just want to see because the
Flash
story.
and Grant Gustin.
Yeah, and I want to see how this movie played out because apparently also they did a test screening. This has been the highest scored test screening of all time.
Not only
about
that,
that.
but also, did you hear in the last test screening? Apparently, Grant Gustin's scene's cut.
Interesting.
But so this is what apparently happens. Apparently he's running through the Speed Force, and then you have 1970s Wonder Woman, you have Christopher Reeve Superman.
That's another thing. They're
You
putting
have
so many different past DC actors.
and they're pulling past things, and apparently they had Grant Gustin's The Flash, and he's running through the city. That was in one of the test screenings. People were saying, "Oh yeah, like Grant Gustin's like Flash is running." They cut it. And everybody was like, I wonder why they cut it. Like, that doesn't make any sense. The leading theory is they cut it because Grant Gustin's going to shoot something instead. Because it looked like it was
reshoot
just
something, yeah.
Well, because it was going to be, it was just going to be like footage from the show. Where it was just like, oh, yeah, it's just footage that we pulled from the show. But now that you cut it, it could be possible that it's because he's going to be shooting something live.
Someone said a rumor that his contract did change now.
It did.
That now instead of doing TV show, he is doing other projects for Warner Brothers in some way.
So it's just a matter of time. More than likely, by the time we get to issue 113, we'll have more information.
Yeah.
It's
not.
every week. I mean, what do you mean? DC's always gonna, DC Warner Brothers
Dude,
Discovery is gonna, something new's gonna happen.
Dude, next week they could go like Bugs Bunny, we hung him. Like
What?
Yeah.
We're canceling the Looney Tunes. They're no
canceling
longer
the Looney
loony.
Tunes.
You know that
They're
water
stable.
You know that water tower? Yeah, we crucified Bugs on it. Like,
We drowned the Looney Tunes in there.
you know
Warner
the-
Brothers Discovery is making a docu-series about Hitler.
you open up the water tower, you just see the Animaniacs fall out.
They like puncture a hole and just all the Animaniacs, all the like Pinky in the Brain, and
Pinky in the
stuff.
Brain, just like
Freakazoid is all spewing out and stuff.
The other
Space Jam 3.
oh yeah, that's where we put them.
We couldn't find them for the longest time.
moving on.
Yeah.
Batman the Cape Crusader, the animated
is
show
interesting.
Up for
that was
sale.
announced for DC fandom.
Yes.
Okay, so you say it's up for sale. The way that it was reported was that Warner Brothers Discovery canceled that. That was supposed to be a series that was supposed to be
Tim.
led by Bruce Timm.
Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, who else? I actually
Big
think
names in the Batman. In
Isn't
the
Kevin
Batman
Conroy
Kevin Conroy was supposed to come back as Batman, but
Yeah.
it was supposed to be I think it was like anthology though.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he
It's supposed
goes
to be
into
like an
different
anthology. Yeah.
series.
These are big names if you are Batman fans from the original Batman animated series.
Yeah.
Supposed to be helmed by them, canceled. But then they mentioned it that it's up for sale for other networks to pick up.
Yes, which I think that's a gold mine.
Which I could
That's another thing. I don't understand the logic behind that, where it's like they have a project that they know is movable. It's gonna make money the way they do it. If they do it
They
a certain way.
probably have a bigger they have an eye on a bigger picture. And I think
Probably.
that this series, even though it would be successful, is not the thing that Warner Brothers Discovery thinks will bring in subscribers into the HBO ecosystem.
The other thing that's kind of messed up, it's really messed up because also Young Justice so far is canceled.
Yeah, so far
it hasn't been picked up.
Yeah, no one's talking about it's been renewed yet.
To be fair,
It could be fandom.
fans have kind of let that series down because no one talks about it as much anymore.
That's true.
It's
Yeah,
kind of
people are
it's
still
a,
watching it, though.
watching it, but they're not hyping it up. Which keep in mind,
Well,
when the
I
first
mean-
season was done, they hyped it up enough that a season 2 was picked up, and then that season ended, and then season 3 was like, we need more.
I just think it's so funny of like everybody was like, oh man, I can't wait to see the next season when Apocalypse shows up. And then
I
like,
know they never do.
the
that.
next like 2 seasons are like, well, they keep teasing Apocalypse as
Yeah.
being like their big thing, and they still haven't done it.
They
And it's
still,
like, dude, come
especially
on.
this season finale where they show it again, but then it's just them hinting at the fame of the fame fatales.
Yeah.
That's it.
So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Cape Crusader being sold to another service. I think maybe Netflix could probably pick this up. I think if it was a streaming service, I would say Netflix. What other? I mean, do you really think that's Disney? You really think that they want to associate themselves with a DC franchise?
I feel like
Maybe
Prime,
Peacock?
Maybe Prime could pick it up.
Amazon?
No, Peacock doesn't have anything.
Amazon could be one.
Amazon might pick it up. Yeah.
Amazon, yeah.
But Amazon needs to get over its legal battles. But yeah.
They could. Well, Amazon right now is just kind of picking up scraps and making gold out of it. So
But that's what I'm saying. But the thing is that like Amazon has a lot of legal battles that's going on with Amazon Basic, which kind of has nothing to do with it doesn't have anything to do with their Prime.
didn't
but-
know about the Amazon Basic situation until today when I was listening to the
What
LTT
is that?
podcast. The product brand, they're gonna disband it.
Oh, really?
No more Amazon Basics.
So check really quick. So check
Yeah.
this out. So apparently Amazon, what they were doing is because all these companies had their products on Amazon, they had all of the data to show who's buying, how much they're buying, and everything else. So then what they would do
Amazon
is they
was
would then
like,
flip.
We'll make
that-
our own.
They would then make their own,
Yeah.
and then they would advertise it, and they would know exactly how to advertise it because they knew who was buying it because they
Yeah.
had all the algorithms.
All these batteries are moving,
and they
We'll
were
make our
cutting
own
and,
batteries.
and they were cutting the price by like
Yeah.
half.
So Linus Tech Tips basically said that he was using the Anchor portable chargers as an example. He's just like Anchor would sell their products on Amazon, but the product company itself would break terms of service if they sent the product and then incentivized you to give it a 5-star rating, even though it might not have been a 5-star rating. That's breaking terms of service for Amazon. But Amazon was sketchy because of what Nick was saying. They would essentially advertise their own versions of the same product on that product
That's
page.
why when I
And it would be the
see
first.
what,
And it would
like,
be the first thing to
yeah.
pop up.
I'll be searching something and then I'll see like the Amazon Basic thing
Yeah.
being promoted.
You
like,
know-
second tier to
So
that.
yeah. So
of the
right
original.
now, what they're doing is they're eliminating it as quantities are eliminated. So as soon as like they're sold out of it, they're eliminating the queue.
Yeah. So one of the biggest ones would be like cables, for example, HDMI's, display ports, or
Yeah.
even like USB-C chargers and stuff.
I've seen plenty of those.
Done.
The
They're not
basic
selling
ones,
them. Yeah. So that's the whole Amazon thing. It'd be interesting. But the last piece of news is that there is a possible rumor that DC has a Kevin Feige waiting.
Oh, yeah.
In, what's his name?
Dan Lin.
Dan Lin. And what has Dan Lin done, Rene?
A lot of stuff.
Lego movie.
Well, can you get? Well, guess.
Warner Brothers stuff.
Okay.
No, in all fairness,
You have the computer. Tell us what.
In all fairness,
Lego
he's been
movie.
Rene.
Lego Movie 2.
Rene.
Batman Lego Man. Lego
All
Batman.
Lego things.
Sherlock Holmes.
Did he do Sherlock?
Yeah, he did.
What was
Game
the
of
other thing that he
Shadows.
was producer for?
Walker.
Walker. That's a CW show, yeah.
But there was something else that was like pretty big. That was like
He's right there. He's literally.
he was a producer for basically all the Lego movies, which without a doubt, really great.
So his filmography is just mostly producer.
It's all producer.
Yeah, so he's done like he's done an episode for was it Avatar: The Last Airbender, the new one coming out, the live action.
Oh, he's a producer of that.
Yeah,
Sweet.
the new Haunted Mansion movie he's involved with.
It's a lot of Disney products. It's a lot of
Easter
Disney
Sunday.
products.
Easter Sunday.
Lilo and Stitch, the live action.
What's the other
King Kong versus Godzilla.
That's it. That's the
that's-
one I was thinking about.
That's why you care.
Yeah,
Chapter 2.
that's another one.
Lethal Weapon, the series.
So why?
Oh, he did Death Note.
Okay.
Or he produced Death Note.
So
Wait, was that the movie? Or
Yeah, that was the live action Netflix movie.
Yeah, they made a couple.
okay,
mistakes.
before we get lost in the list, Rene, hey, Rene,
Gangster Squad.
don't be Nick, Rene.
2 weeks. 2 weeks of husbands.
Point
What is
being,
that? It's a what's it,
Rene,
Torque.
Wait,
are you done?
No.
Don't. Oh my God,
Dude,
we're
Unaccompanied
running
Man,
out of time.
dude, he did The Departed.
Oh, God, dude.
Also, The
should I
Box?
I'm just gonna stay quiet. I'm just gonna let you two run the show. This is a 2.5 hour show at this point.
Go ahead,
Poe.
just talk.
I'm trying to,
Squad.
but Renee's talking right now, going like, I'm just going down a list.
Well, the people want to know.
No, people can look this up on IMDb just like you are.
Wait, do you think when they say The Box, is that like the horror movie, or is that the?
Yeah,
porno?
that's what Cameron Diaz. You know, when there's like, press the red button.
Push the red button and then somebody will die in the world. Sorry. Whatever you
Renee's
say.
not done. I'm gonna talk right now, and he's gonna say something stupid else.
Just say something, God.
Why is Dan Lin important as a producer for the head producer for DC moving forward?
Obviously knows how to get movies done. I mean, they're not all home runners.
They are, but what I feel is interesting is that his filmography is very creative. And I think that that's what's kind of needed here at this point, because it seems like a lot of the things he's worked on has some sort of good direction, you know? And that's kind of what they've been looking for. In that, what is it, The Investor called that you mentioned last week?
Yeah, but the thing is that you also need somebody that has a great idea of how exactly, because you just have to have somebody that can put roadblocks of going like, this is going to be the overall story. That's going to be your number one problem. How
Do you
exactly
think Dan
do I
Lin
do
has that though?
From what I'm seeing, no.
I'm not confident, but I want to see his layout.
A
for
plan.
DC, yeah. I want to see what the plan is, you know. And then I'll go. From
In
there.
all fairness, he's only in talks. This is
Yeah.
a rumor of him in talks of Mike getting the job.
So let me propose this idea to you guys. Maybe there's a little bit of confidence here, right? Who's the head of DC right now?
Who is?
In head of DC Studios?
No, DC Comics.
Oh. It's not Jeff Johns anymore, right?
No, I want to say Jim Lee. Jim Lee.
Jim Lee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what if Dan Lin, right? They hire him. He's like, okay, we're gonna make some good moves here. Says, in order for me to have a good layout for the next 10 years of DC Studios films, I'm gonna partner up with Jim Lee. I'm gonna bring him in, and I'm gonna have him outline a set storyline specifically for the movies.
Here's the thing, though. The biggest thing that Warner Brother needs to learn is that there's no such thing as you're a comics guy and we're the movie guys. Shut up. Don't say anything.
Okay.
That's got to be because
I feel
Warner
like
Brothers
has that mentality.
That's Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers has that mentality of it's too comic booky. Because so many people who have worked on Batman, Superman, writing scripts for Warner Brothers, whenever they start throwing in very comic booky-esque stuff or stuff that's going to be like, oh yeah, I'm pulling this straight from the comics, that's when you start getting a lot of pushback. That's when you start getting a lot of this, I don't know.
But that investor call that we talked about last week,
Yeah.
it seemed like now they're starting to borrow that different mentality that Marvel Studios has had, because Marvel Studios hasn't shown that. What they do really well is that they get inspiration from the comics and they drag that into their shows and TVs or shows and movies, and say that this is what we're going to base it on. They don't hide away from the fact that it's too comic booky. They want it to be too comic booky.
They want it to be weird.
I feel like Marvel Studios, instead of adapting storylines, they like to adapt moments in storylines. They like to adapt big panels that are very well known.
They want to see the splash panel on the screen. That's the most important thing.
I might get hate for this comment, but I'm going to say it anyways.
What?
Marvel focuses on its TV shows and movies and adapts those storylines into the comic books because that will move those items. DC, what it feels like is they sell their books because they know that the audience that buys those books are going to be loyal and love the stories there. But when it comes to adapting them on screen, they're too afraid to do it because they don't want to fall into that comic book mentality.
But that's the weird thing though, is because when you really look at Warner Brothers, because for years it's always been the same thing. If I wanted to go watch a really good comic book animated movie or TV show, you go Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Because they always have a better comic book.
Their animation
studio is
awesome.
amazing. It's so good. And the stories that they can tell and everything else, they're so emotional and they're so mature and they're very awesome. They're great stories. Whereas when you were to go to Marvel's cartoons and Marvel's animation movies and everything else, they were very lacking. Like even when Disney bought them, they were still falling short. They felt very kiddish.
It's a kid's show. Go ahead and
it's
give it
very
to them.
much like this is a kid's show. It's just a cartoon. It doesn't matter. There's not a lot of effort that was put into the story or put a lot into the everything else. And that's the difference between the two. Now, with the interest in like What If and all these other things and all these other like Marvel kind of animations, they're starting to kind of go that way. But even What If, I felt like the stories weren't there.
What If was kind of rushed. I think we talked about it. We said that What If was too rushed. It just felt unfinished. It didn't feel like it sold its stories well enough. So, I mean, just to kind of wrap this up, Dan Lin, if they do hire him,
He's an interesting pick.
He's an interesting pick, but I'm glad that there is some positivity here because, like I said before, the last 3 issues, it feels like we've just been hammering down on DC and Warner Brothers Discovery at this point. Like, there's nothing good coming out of them. This is a good sign. Give them a shot because at least they're trying and they're not going away, because this whole Zack Snyder incident where they like said his movies are good, they're bringing in money, people love them, but we don't want him here and all this other stuff.
Well, did you hear? Did you hear? Apparently, there was a documentarian who was making a video on the Snyder Cut. He was trying to get behind the scene footage for the Snyder Cut and him doing everything else. And as they were talking about it, he had to go to Warner Brothers in order for them to give him the approval to pull scenes from the Snyder Cut and use it in his thing. They said no. They go, there's only one Justice League movie and it's Joss Whedon's.
That's a bad mentality. If that's true, that's a very bad mentality.
I'm not sure. I know that was a story that had come out from the documentarian. I'm not sure when he asked, because it may have been pre-Discovery.
Oh yeah, I think
most
so.
likely it was pre-Discovery that happened. But as of that moment, that's Warner Brothers' mentality of like, Joss Whedon's Justice League is our Justice League. That's what we're moving forward with, and that's it.
I think it's more of like they don't want to show any more footage for anything for Justice League. They just want to move from it They're just like, yeah, like that's the Justice League movie. Right
Yeah.
there.
But it's also really weird too because like why are you canceling movies like Batgirl and then going like, all right, cool, we canceled it, but now we're just gonna have a screening for everybody that worked on
The
it.
funeral thing that they
Yeah, and
announced.
it was a funeral, and people were calling it a funeral screening because they were like, this is literally, we're all signing NDAs, we're all watching this movie with our friends and family and our production. It's in a back lot in the studio in WB Studios, and they're gonna take the footage, the hard drives, and everything like that, and they're throwing it in a vault, and then it's never to be seen again.
I think it's
That's really interesting that they have, but that's the route they're going. Is like it's never going to see the light of day. No fans are going to see it. It's just something that we're going to see.
I think
That's
only the people that worked on
Yeah.
it. So it's supposed to have the people that worked on it and executives.
what's the difference between Warner Brothers doing this and Disney doing this? Because that's the thing is that when Disney does it, right? They kind of are. It's kind of looked as they're putting it in a vault. Oh my god, I'm so angry.
At that point,
We forget about it.
that's the thing. We forget about it, and the Disney will be like, it's coming from the vault. It's
Yeah.
coming out of the vault.
Okay.
Works for them.
Yeah.
But here's the thing though, is that when they say it's coming from a vault, it's a movie that has already been released.
Yeah.
Like coming from the Disney vault. Princess The Little Mermaid 2. You know, or it's going back into the vault. Little Mermaid 5.
101. I was a sucker for that when they did that with 101 Dalmatians. They
Exactly.
released it.
But whenever they pull it from the vault, it's the original thing, and then they convert it to HD, and
Yeah.
they do all these other things. But it's a movie that's already been released. Them getting a movie that's already in the can, that's finished, showing it to the people that worked on it, and then went like, "That's nice," and then throwing it into the vault, and then going, "Well, that's done. Let's move on." It's just weird. It's really
It's like,
weird.
wow, look at that. Look, you did a good job on that.
Look at the
So
look at
we're
CGI.
gonna have
Yeah.
trained snipers on you guys 24/7 until the day you die. If we hear even one little snippet,
Dude, I'm just saying it's so funny because if I was somebody who did CGI on that movie or stunts or anything like that, I would be like, I honestly don't care.
depends on your paycheck.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
I
mind
already
staying
got-
quiet if the paycheck was nice.
Not only that, but also I'd be like, they already paid me for it.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Who cares?
like, it sucks that this doesn't come out, but I mean,
Yeah.
I got paid.
So will we be back for DC Watch next issue?
I think so. There's gonna
Yeah,
be
most
Stay
likely
tuned
there's
for
gonna be
issue
something.
1.
I'm really hoping they
13.
do a fan. I'm really hoping that what they do is they lock everything down because I'm assuming they're locking everybody down for fandom.
That's true. Yeah.
That's true.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
they're
because fandom's coming up in a couple months.
Fandom's coming up in like 4 months, so.
I can see it. Like you see the director Batgirl. He's like, without further ado, we are going to be releasing the Batgirl movie only on HBO Max behind a paywall.
$34.99.
Yeah.
Disney did it.
Yeah. It's true.
Disney did it for Black Widow.
Yeah.
Remember?
Alrighty, we'll be back. Until next time, issue 113 DC Watch. We'll be back. Moving on. She-Hulk Watch. Okay, can we do the same thing we did last week for the people that really can't stand this show? How was this episode for everyone?
It's too strong of a woman.
Too anti-misogynistic.
How dare she stand up for herself?
How dare she say she does not like the name She-Hulk?
Yeah. Yeah.
How dare she empower women and their thoughts
should've
and
just-
everything?
She should have just become a mascot.
This is just complete pander.
Oh my god.
She should have been that bear mascot.
This is the part they cut from our podcast post on Twitter and be like, these men should be canceled.
Just
Over.
taking everything out of context. It's just like how they're gonna take my Hitler joke. They should make more Hitler movies.
You know we don't see enough.
Nazis.
Nazis.
We don't see enough nowadays. Nazis.
Oh my God.
I feel like we never get their true story.
Yeah,
Like,
So we're gonna bring in Andy,
Yeah.
my fiance, because we want to get her perspective.
She doesn't have a beanstalk. She can give us a.
Oh, okay, I got that.
oh my god,
If do you want me to get it immediately? That's the whole bit, Renee. Jesus, man,
I
come on.
don't think it was a bit, honestly.
Jesus! That was true. Honest.
So I will say this before we call
Honest.
Andy, and have her on the show. I will say, let's do a quick little 2 to 3 minute bit on what we thought about this episode. Nick, do you want to start?
Yeah, everything I said was gonna happen happened.
Cool. While Renee's typing, I'll give mine. I will say that this episode was a little bit weird for me because it started off very strong. It started off strongly in the sense that it was just like she doesn't like the name She-Hulk. She was trying to get comfortable with like herself and everything and all this other stuff. And it felt like they were kind of pandering an anti-She-Hulk message at first. And I told Andy this. I said,
It's better than Chick Hulk.
true. But I told Andy this. Marvel has a tendency of putting whatever happens on their live stuff into the comic books.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. Because if they're going to get rid of the She-Hulk name in the show, if that's what the direction they were headed into, it'll translate over to the comic books, and we're never going to get rid of that. And She-Hulk has been a name for decades at this point. But then Andy said something uniquely different that really made me happy. And she'll say it right now when you call her, but she said, I really enjoy this show because it's the first time I can relate to a character in one of these one of these Marvel TV shows and movies. And I said, that's dope. Because every single one of us, the big message that we've always talked about in terms of these movies and TV shows is that we love our superheroes because there's some sort of relation to them that we have.
True.
Right? And it's interesting. Andy will go more into detail about what it is that she can relate to in terms of She-Hulk and herself. But that's what these shows are about. It's good. They're kind of pulling a lot from the comics and her character and her personalities. This is a good Jennifer Walters. It's a good episode.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it so far. Renee, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I thoroughly liked this episode. It's a little slow as in terms of like pacing, but I did like the direction that they're going, bringing in Abomination, and then writing him in a different aspect of like him being like, I was only taking orders, you know, I'm not really the bad guy because, you know, they injected
That was an
stuff.
interesting. That was a very interesting point.
Right?
I
And
thought
was
that
like,
was an interesting point.
That's a good argument.
Yes.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah,
You know, and
because
he's-
even she said he came up with a lot of really good arguments.
They told me that I was supposed to take him down, the U.S. government,
Yeah.
and then they injected me with the super soldier serum, and I went haywire. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's your turn. That's your case right there.
That's a case right there.
That's
No,
a case.
he-
But
and
then-
I love where he's like, "Oh, I was a hero. I thought I was good. I thought I was being a hero." And then you have the end credit where like apparently Wong's been just like,
Yeah. And that's how Wong comes in the next episode. That's the
yeah.
thing.
But my thinking is that I think that he's been recruited for the Thunderbolts, and then Wong was training him to suppress because of Bruce. Because remember, he says that he has had contact with Bruce.
Yeah.
So maybe Bruce Banner has been trying to get him to calm down.
Yeah.
And he's been telling him.
It would be nice to hear a reason how Wong got in contact with the Abomination and how that came into being and stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking about Bruce, there's
Because
this little snippet.
in Shang-Chi, you see the prison he's in.
Yeah. So, speaking about Bruce, there's a little snippet where Jen calls Bruce, and he's like, "Oh, I currently have to deal with something. He's in space," and he blasts off. Right? There was something you mentioned in the last issue where Paramount's rights to the Hulk basically expire next year. Right? That's 100% true. Are we confirming that?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So if that's
'Cause
true,
even Mark Ruffalo has said that there is a potential story of World War Hulk in his career.
where is he going? In space.
Yeah, he's probably going to do Planet Hulk.
Yeah.
That's a write-off that you can do in a Hulk-centric movie.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you can do World War Hulk, or you can even is World War Hulk when you go meet his son?
No,
Planet Hulk or World Hulk?
Well, no, Planet Hulk, he meets his wife, and then that's how his son's, born and stuff like that. It's after World War Hulk that he meets his son.
Okay.
But the thing is, World War Hulk is a very interesting storyline because that is when he gets back at the Illuminati for sending him off Earth.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested to see how they're going to do World War Hulk.
Which I actually do like the idea that Hulk did it. Like Hulk just didn't want to be here anymore, and like he's not mad at anybody because he did it to himself.
Yeah.
But also, there has to be. He's been in communication with Sakaar in some way, some form. Just because he has heirlooms from Sakaar, he has his war helmet.
Yeah. He had a whole life there.
He had a whole life there, so he went back to Sakaar at some point during the blimp, I'm assuming, and picked up his stuff from the Hulk's room.
Yeah.
Because the Hulk had a connection there.
Maybe we'll see the Grand Master again. Maybe
Sure.
he's trying to uphold another stronghold and stuff. I feel really bad. I think we should
Let's call her right now. We've got 15 minutes before we wrap up this issue. But it will be an interesting take. We're going to be calling Andy right now just to get her side of this
I
episode.
would laugh so hard if she just puts it to decline.
She declines
Just
the call.
immediately
She declined.
She
the
said
call.
she was available for it. We'll see. Hello.
Hello.
Ah,
Oh my god, a woman.
Don't do that.
that's
Gosh.
how we get canceled, Nick.
No. Even he's like, oh damn.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you guys.
Okay.
I pressed some. I don't know. I can hear you guys though.
Okay, good.
Did you hear Nick's comment?
You're laughing. No.
Oh, okay, good. It's better you not.
We'll tell you. Brian will probably tell you after.
I'll tell you.
Brian's
after.
definitely going to tell you after.
All right, so we got about 15 minutes before we wrap up this issue. Again, thank you for joining us. But tell us, what were your thoughts about this episode for She-Hulk episode 2?
Oh, for She-Hulk.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I think it was honestly because when we were watching it, I think I had said it before on the first episode to Bryan, but I felt I was able to relate a lot more to Jen, just as you kind of see her through her trials of like trying to figure out how to get a job, and then you kind of see her talking to her family and having to face that. So there were like different parts of the show where I was like, oh my god, I can feel for Jen. So I loved it. I think it's pretty cool. You get to see more of her personality. I think one of the things that I had noticed, and I apologize for Joey barking in the background.
It's National Dog Day. He can do whatever he wants.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Damn it.
It is. But yeah, so one thing that I was noticing, or one thing that came to mind was just it's so interesting to be able to relate to her, because I think at least for me, I'm in that stage in my life too, where I'm in that adult world, or I guess I'm in like more of like a big girl job, and there is that fear when you go in. It's like, oh my gosh, like these like executives, and you know, like you just see her thoughts like when she breaks the fourth wall, which also I love. And I'm sorry if I'm rambling on, but I have been enjoying this show. I think out of all the Marvel shows, I've been enjoying this one a lot more.
It's definitely more fun. I like it.
It is a lot more fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot more relatable.
And that's
Yes.
that's why I really like the show's existence, you know, because we have people who comment on there. We had a comment in the last issue that someone was saying that Marvel and DC have kind of like just been making really dumb storylines over the last like 10 years, and they haven't really been focusing on anything new or anything interesting and
You mean
stuff
for
like
the
that.
comics or for the shows?
For the comics, and I think for the shows, maybe. I don't know if that's the comment they were making.
I saw an interesting TikTok about someone making kind of like the same remark, where they said that Marvel is now just like woke stories, and I think it was Straw Hat Goofy. He said it's stories that don't pertain to you, that you can't relate with. That's the thing.
That's also a stupid take, because you can't just say, oh, you can't call it woke because if it doesn't pertain to you, you can't hate it. Here's the stupid thing. We've mentioned this time and time again, right? Straw Hat Goofy, I don't really agree with a lot of his takes. I think that a lot of the things that he does say, I don't care. I'll call him out right here. And if he listens to us, great. I'll call him out. A lot of his takes are very one-sided. It's very much
Make
like...
sure to follow and subscribe.
Follow and subscribe to us, right?
That way I know you're here.
Yeah, exactly. Comment down below.
Yeah,
no,
leave a
but here's
comment.
the thing. They're one-sided. It's very much a take that is controversial that'll get the views. Simple enough, you can say this. Comics have always been quote-unquote woke. They've always been like that.
Yeah.
They've been messages. And you can go as far back as World War II. It's propaganda.
That's the entire story of the X-Men.
Yeah.
It's a story of like
about-
acceptance of homosexuality.
So then
In
why...
the 80s.
Yeah, exactly. So then why are all of a sudden people just not liking certain storylines? I get it, because it doesn't pertain to them or anything like that, but that's the problem. You have, if we look at the comic book store wall right now, how many comics would you say are you selling right now?
A lot.
A lot,
Yeah.
right? Like 50 plus, right? Different storylines.
Don't tell everybody what the inventory is.
50 plus titles, right?
Yeah, man.
So with that said, you have so many options to read from. So if you don't like one, you don't need to watch it. The great thing about She-Hulk is, like Andy said, right? It's relatable to her. You might not like it. That's fine. You can skip it.
Yeah, you
There's
don't have to
always
watch it.
Wikipedia. You can
Yeah.
read on it, see what the storylines are. There's
Yeah.
always IGN where you can see what other little Easter eggs are hidden on there. There was an Easter egg that I sent Andy earlier about how they hinted at Wolverine.
Oh, yeah.
In this episode.
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah,
they
that was
did.
interesting.
Yeah.
I think you'd really have to like freeze frame that.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it, but it's there. So
That's
it's-
cool.
It's good.
Yeah.
Give us those shows that are relatable, because for us, like I told Andy earlier today, what is the essential foundation that Peter Parker is based on? It's the fact that the man,
He's broke.
sure,
Poor man.
He's the poor man superhero
this guy has
that kills all of his family.
lost his parents, lost his uncle,
Yeah,
lost his aunt, lost his first love,
all his
Yeah.
fault.
lost his second love
his
multiple
fault.
times,
Lost many jobs.
lost many jobs,
Yeah.
All
broke,
his fault.
in debt, just the worst things imaginable.
Yeah.
Right? But he never turns evil. He always
Yeah.
stands up. And that
I know.
is-
I had asked Brian that, like, man, like, because you watch or like read about like villains' backstories, and it's tragic, right? And so, like, when he was talking to me about that today, I was like, man, is there a version of Spider-Man where he does turn evil? Because there's so many negative things.
I feel like there's probably like
There's
a mind
been-
control version of him.
No,
probably.
the Clone Saga.
No, well, yeah. There's been different takes of like different universes, but it all changes his origin.
So
That's
in the
thing.
616, the Clone Saga kind of works with that, because with Peter's death, Ben Reilly and what's his name? Something Parker. Kane Parker.
Kane Parker, yeah.
They basically call out Peter Parker and say, like, he had all this potential and all this power to do everything he could as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why is he holding back?
right.
It goes back on the idea with great power comes great
I
responsibility.
mean, technically, Doc Ock Spider-Man for a little bit.
Superior Spider-Man as
Yeah.
well, right?
Yeah,
So
realize that the
everyone
whole time.
sees all the power
But
that
that's
Peter
also,
has.
but that's also not necessarily Peter. It's Doc Ock.
It is, but it's always questioned, right?
Yeah.
It's always, why can't he do more with his abilities and his powers? Again, I love that line. I don't know if it was Jim Lee who said it.
Yeah.
Villain is just a misunderstood hero.
Well, yeah.
I think the one also that we really haven't had that's like a villain is probably, I mean, because we have had a couple of villain versions of them, but it's Batman. Because usually Batman
Thomas
is like,
Wayne. Thomas Wayne is a good one.
No, Thomas
Thomas
Wayne's
Wayne's
more
still
of-
he's not even he's more of a vigilante.
He's
I mean,
just
he's more of a
just hardcore. He's a hardcore
yeah,
vigilante.
he's a hardcore vigilante. He's very much
he's like
he's the
if
Punisher.
Batman had no rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very much the Punisher
Yeah.
at that point. But I mean, except because even when you get to Batman in the Mobius chair or like Darkseid Batman, it's one of those things of like, I'm doing this for the long con. Like, I'm still trying to save the world, but
I feel like we need to circle back at She-Hulk.
We'll get there. We'll get there. So real quick, are there any thoughts that you might have going into episode 3, seeing where episode 2 ended, basically with the reveal that Abomination was fighting in that underground fighting ring with Wong and everything? Do you feel like episode 3 will be good, and where do you think it's headed from your perspective?
From my perspective, I think it's how would I explain it? I guess kind of like a cliffhanger, really, because okay, like now we got to figure out I want to know what's gonna happen next, or how is she gonna deal with that? Because I think when it comes to like superheroes or people with superpowers, there comes complications. Where I'm sure, and you saw it in her face. She's like, oh, well, he makes some really good points, and he, there might be a way to get him out, but then you see the complication where he's caught having to have escaped to go and fight in this ring, and it's public, so it's
So
very
obviously it was
interesting
recorded.
to see that. But I'm excited to see that. I feel like Jen is very smart. Now, I'm not very familiar with like her comic books, but I mean, I would assume she's really smart. I can already
She
see
is a
that.
good lawyer. Yeah.
one of the really cool comic books that came out not recently, but one of the cooler ones is when Jen Walters and Matt Murdock face off against each other for Steve Rogers. When Steve Rogers
during the
is
Civil War,
when Steve Rogers is being persecuted because apparently it's a wrongful death suit when Steve Rogers is no man, and they're saying that Steve Rogers, basically Steve Rogers is the reason that somebody died because he got involved in trying to fight off a gang, and he opened his mouth, and that's the reason why the guy died. And Matt Murdock and Jennifer Walters have to go head to head. Jennifer Walters is helping out with Steve, and then Matt Murdock is prosecuting against them. But
and I think that just makes for a really interesting story. I think when there's that like kind of complexity to it, it just makes it a lot more fun to really like see like, okay, how is this going to unravel? So I think that's what I'm excited about.
I'm kind of interested because I'm waiting to see how Daredevil,
how
Matt Murdock gets kind of sucked into this.
So me and Adam were hanging out yesterday, and we talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, they went on a date without you, Nick.
I know, I'm so upset.
Yeah.
And we talked about basically the next, how
Good, I'm cheating on him too.
how that trial goes, and basically, Abomination has to be talked about his trials for Harlem, so he has to go to New York City, and it's the city of Harlem against him. So we're thinking Matt Murdock is going to represent the city of Harlem against Jennifer Walters.
Do you really want to pit the two against each other so quickly, though?
Probably by episode 4 or 5. I feel like that's when the trials will immense.
The trial. So you think Abomination's going to be the full season?
Possibly.
I think that case is big enough to just maintain the whole
it's
season.
an attorney show.
I know, but here's my thing though: is that I feel like they should have done this the Lincoln Lawyer way. Of Jennifer Walters has an overarching multiple there's a single case you get in the first episode. This case is now going to go over 10 episodes. It's going to go over, and then in each episode I have a case or two. Like I have 1 or 2 cases that I'm also working on, and then those cases give me ideas on how to break this case.
Okay. Oh no, I truly believe Disney and Marvel are not that clever. Like in a writing aspect, no.
Look, man, I already don't like Kevin Feige.
That's a great premise.
Good. I would love if they did that. But I feel like Marvel and DC.
I'm telling you right now,
Marvel and Disney wouldn't do that.
Anybody who hasn't seen The Lincoln Lawyer, if you like lawyer shows,
we get it.
The Lincoln Lawyer is dope.
We get it, Nick. You've said it like every 2 issues.
So before we go, I want to ask Andy a question. You thoroughly like the show, right?
Yes.
Now, when you hear that certain groups of fandom from Marvel are saying bad things about it, or just kind of griping it, how do you feel about that? What does that mean? Like, do you think they should just how do you feel about that?
I haven't even heard any negative remarks about the show or any criticism. But then again, I don't hang out with too many people, so
she stays away from the dark side of the internet.
That got dark so fast.
It got really sad.
Yeah, they got really sad, and just Bryan doesn't allow me to talk to other people.
What are you talking about?
I see it more as Bryan shielding you from the negativity.
No.
No, Bryan just shields you from humanity.
I guess let me rephrase that. I don't know a lot of people that keep up with a lot of the Marvel shows. I don't think.
Yeah.
Okay, for example, obviously, if there's things that are connecting to the movies and stuff like that, then that's where I hear more people watching those shows. But I think when they hear She-Hulk, I'll tell you, She-Hulk and Miss Marvel, I would reference it and ask my friends or coworkers about it, and they're like, I have not heard of it, or I have not watched it. So I haven't had that experience. But hypothetically, if someone were to ask or to tell me or criticize it, saying that they don't like the show or they don't enjoy it, then it's not a show for them. For me, I think it's pretty cool, especially because you think back through all the Marvel movies and Marvel superheroes. I know we've gotten a couple of women that have been in there, but not they're not the main focus, kind of. And even then, it's I can't relate to Wanda. I can't relate to her at all. I can't relate to Jen Foster or Captain Marvel. I can't.
Somewhere out there,
their stories are so
just angry,
far out there.
Yeah.
And so then seeing Jen, what's her name? Jen Walker, right?
Walter.
Is that
Walters.
right?
Walters.
Waters.
Jen Waters.
Jen Walters.
Walters. Thank you for correcting me.
I think.
I like seeing her, like the way that she is and interacts. Like I feel like I'm that way, or like that's the way that I talk. Like one of my favorite parts too was in the second episode when she's venting to her dad about everything that's been going on, and she's just going on. She's not even letting him put in any words in there. She's just like talking out her feelings, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's me.
Was that to her dad or to Bruce?
To her dad when they're in the garage.
Oh, yeah. She did that twice. She did that to Bruce.
She did do that twice. She did it then, and then she did it to Bruce when she was trying to decide, like, or tell him, like, that she was going to take the case.
I like the line that she says where the dad asks, he's like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm okay. He's like, no, are you, like, okay? She's like, well, I'm okay not being, or I'm okay being okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay not being okay.
Yeah. It's a good line. I was like, it's pretty good.
Yeah. And so it's like, I can, me personally, I can relate to it. It's not for everybody. And I don't know, like I've been enjoying it. I know Brian's enjoying it. I don't know about you guys. Have you guys been enjoying it?
No, I've been liking it.
Well, no, we take two takes here on the show. So we say, publicly, realistically, we enjoy it. Mm-hmm. But then for the people that really hate the show, it's just an anti-misogynistic show.
Can you stop trying to mansplain to me?
Wow.
Just it's you're wrong.
How dare you?
We try to circle in as many viewers as possible here because you never know. There's people who don't like the show. There's people who do like the show. So we got to cover all spectrums.
I'm gonna clip that for YouTube, for TikTok.
Stop,
please.
All right, we do have to wrap up this show pretty soon. Thank you so much for joining us here and giving us your thoughts.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we'll probably have you back at the end because I think this is going to be like a weekly thing with She-Hulk. So as soon as the show wraps up, I think it's like what, 8 or 10 episodes?
It's 9 episodes.
9 episodes.
That was why Daredevil was so like what when they were like it's
18 episodes.
Yeah, 18 episodes. Everybody like what?
Jesus,
we haven't seen 18
I'm not
episodes.
used to that.
What is this, the CW? What the heck?
We'll have you back at the end maybe somewhere in the middle. But yeah, thank you so much. We will talk to you later.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, bye. All right, that was Andy joining us.
I told you she's real. Bryan doesn't just pay her to show up every so often. Yeah. I told you.
We do have to wrap up this issue. I will say this, the one comment that was made, I don't think they can pit Walters and Murdoch so early on because that is such a huge, if they do, cool. I just don't want it to end in like a mistrial where like no one wins because they're both supposedly great lawyers, and to answer such a question so early on, you're not selling it,
Here's my thing though. I can totally see if they used that issue of Civil War because technically Murdoch is working for Steve because he gets hired to prosecute, but he gets hired to take on the case because Steve asks him to.
Yeah.
Because he says, I want you to prosecute me to the furthest extent of the law. So that way people believe
good guy Steve Rogers
that I didn't do this.
Can't stand the guy.
Yeah. Because they were like, well, Steve, why don't you, because I remember they were like, yeah, this guy's trying to like defame me. And they were like, well, Steve, why don't you just tell us and we could just beat him up for you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, how's that going to look? Old man Steve sends his 2 goons to go beat up a witness. He goes, it would have made everybody think I was guilty.
Yeah.
So we'll see where episode 3 takes us, but so far we're enjoying it, and to those that don't, hate it.
I would like it if Daredevil and her co-counsel. That'd be interesting to build that friendship. To build their friendship.
I will say that Wong will be introduced in episode 3, but Murdoch not until like episodes 4 or 5. You can't do 2 big reveals like that.
No, I feel like what they're doing is that they're going to be doing like a character per episode.
Yeah, which makes sense.
I wouldn't be surprised if Wong hires Matt or knows of Matt.
Oh, they're both in New York City?
They're both in New York, and then he goes like, oh, I know a lawyer that can help you that knows New York.
Yeah.
And like that's how that's how they get introduced. Because I think Matt is definitely going to show up before Matt's going to show up before Daredevil.
Yeah.
I don't think Daredevil's going to show up before.
No, it doesn't make sense.
No.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this brings the end of She-Hulk Watch and the end of issue 112. If you guys are interested in checking us out on YouTube, go find us at Keeping Up With the Nerds on YouTube, where you guys can find the live version of the podcast as well as our Real Addiction Live episode 77. 78 will be releasing on Thursday. You guys can go subscribe. Let us know in the comment section down below what you guys' thoughts on any of the topics we talked about today. Go like the video, subscribe. If you guys are on the road, working out, want to listen to us audio platform only, we've got Podbean, we've got Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Leave a review, 5 stars. Let us know what we think about down there as well. Go check out our website at keepingupwiththenerds.com for all the up-to-date information
But
when
if
things
you're
release.
if you're listening to us on audio, you miss out on our great opening skits that we'll be doing.
Thank you for that. Yes, so we're changing up the format.
Yeah.
The audio versions of the show are just starting with the music into the show. The YouTubes are going to have skits at the beginning from here on out. We are experimenting with things. And
We had a
apparently-
conversation. We all knew you hated the questions. That's
I love how it's like you think that you're the one that planned the skit, and you're like, yeah, well, Brian's question stuff was really stupid, but my skit idea was great. The skit was a group effort, Nick.
I never said that, but if you want to give me credit, that's fine.
No.
Well, I feel like that was deja vu. We had another thing that we did that for. An exact same thing, like, you know, we all thought of it.
This is always a bit. It's always
Yeah.
I
Nick
never-
thinking he's
and
the
then
I
Nick's
never
like-
did. I never said anything. Brian, you're the one that puts the words in my
Follow us on our
mouth.
socials, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. With that said, are we ready to close out this issue?
Yes, man.
Man,
I lost my script.
how dare you.
This has been Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 112. My name is Brian.
Renee.
And Nick-
Signing off from Undercity Comics. We'll see you all next time.